key. This key is invented by Mr. Kennedy. That's why name is given Kennedy. So it's a square key. Look at this here, the sharps. When you are going to say it's a Kennedy key, the two square keys, when they are located at 90 degree, look at this. From this angle 45, from vertical here line, from this 45, but angle included between these two key, that is 90 degree. So when you are going to say it's a Kennedy key, when two square keys are located at 90 degree. Again, look at this, how here diagonal, or you can say here diagonal of the key, which is tangential to the outer diameter or the diameter of the shaft. That is important. While constructing, you have to take the care here. And these two, the cross section of this keys, which is square. That's why we can say Kennedy key is nothing but a two square keys are located at 90 degree. And because of these two square keys, such a type of keys are used for heavy duty application. When it transmits the large torque or a power, that time we can use these two keys. Try to understand. This is one square key, this is one square key located at 90 degree. But here again, how to design such a Kennedy key? It's very simple because it's a square key. Again, what is happening? We have seen, the yesterday, how to design a square or a flat key. Again, when this shaft rotates, or key transmits the torque, what is happening? Resisting force. Now because of this here, force P, which is going to act along this, look at the cursor in this way, but here resisting force which is acting in this side also. And for that purpose, what we have to do, the line of action of this force P, which is along or tangential to the shaft, and by considering it, again here it's a square key, here you will find this Kennedy key is also going to fail against here and against crushing. I will explain that. And again, second thing, in this case, torque transmitted by this Kennedy key, because there are two square keys, therefore torque transmitted by each key is 1/2 of the total. Here I have written total torque transmitted by each key is 1/2. Half means half by this key and half by this key. And analysis is similar like a flat key or a square key. Try to understand. Now let us do the analysis, how it is going to happen. Now let us see. This shaft having diameter small d or radius d by 2. Now consider only one key. Therefore, mt transmitted or torque transmitted by this key, that is mt by 2. I have written here. Look at this, mt by 2, because we are considering only one key. Again, here diagonal is the AC. You can give the nomenclature A, B, C, D. AC is the diagonal here. Then second B, it's a square key. Square key means width, that is B, and height H is also equal to B. Therefore, you can write here width B and height of the key. This is also B, as it's a square key. Then again here, what is happening? When it transmits the torque, here the line of action of the force P is going to act at the middle point here. But again here, to resist it, again the force P which is acting on it. But we don't know the exact position. That's why we are assuming it is along the plane AC. Try to understand, which is tangential to the shaft, like a the flat key analysis or a square key analysis. Now again it's a single key. That's why we have considered mt by 2. And now what is mt here? Mt by 2, that is P into D by 2. We know very well this mt is equal to force into D by 2. Here it's a half, and again by using this equation we can find out the force is equal to mt by D. But in other cases, what you will get here? Here you will get P is equal to 2 mt by D. But in this case, half. That's why force you will get P is equal to mt. Try to understand here. So half of the torque by single square key. That's why mt by 2 is equal to P. In the equation of the torque remains same, P into D by 2. You can send this to this side to gets cancelled. The mt or P, or that is force P is equal to mt by D. Try to understand here. This is force P. Then how it is going to fail? Again here this key like analysis is same like a flat or a square key. The shear failure of the key which is going to occur. And where it is going to occur? It is in the plane AC. Look at this now. I am going to explain it. Look at this. This is the key. AC is the plane. The shear failure of the key is going to occur in the plane AC. And again here this key is having the length L. The shear area you will get AC into L. The shear failure of the key which going to occur along the plane AC and this length L, the shear area क्या आएगा? AC into length of the key. Therefore, here you will find failure of the key due to shear stress will occur in the plane AC. I have written here, and therefore area of the plane AC into L. And therefore, what is the shear stress? Tau is equal to force upon this area. How you are going to calculate this area? Look at the diagram. It's a geometry simply. This is AC. This is B. AD is equal to B. DC is equal to B. You have to find out AC. The AC square is equal to, you can use Pythagoras theorem. AC square is equal to AD square plus DC square. Therefore, AC is equal to under root AD square plus DC square. The under you will get here AC square is equal to B square plus, again this is also B square. So AC square is equal to B square plus B square, so twice BC square. So you can find AC is equal to under root 2 into B. Try to understand. And that's why here it is calculated. Here this area and a length along the length of the key. That's why L. The under root 2 into B. B is not under in under root sign. Try to understand. Under root 2 into B into L. This is the E. Therefore, tau permissible is equal to force upon this area. Is the force already from the torque for one single key here. P is equal to mt by d. We are going to substitute this value here. So what you will get tau here? Shear stress induced in Kennedy key in single, that is mt by under root 2 into d into bl. This is the expression you can use to find out the shear stress induced in Kennedy key, or you can use this expression to find out the length of key. Try to understand. Then again, shear another criteria is the crushing failure of the key. How crushing failure which is going to happen here? Look at this here. So you will find here crushing failure. Now this is here on which here on the shaft hub is mounted, and you will find here this part. Yesterday also we have seen the hub h by 2. We have taken the crushing area in the shaft, then h by 2 above area in the hub. You can consider any crushing area in the plane. Now in this case, look at this. OB is the portion of the key which is going to subjected to crushing failure. OB, or this OD also in the shaft and OB in the hub. Try to understand. So what the OB and into length of the key, will give you the crushing area. Here I have written the crushing stress or compressive stress sigma c is equal to P upon projected area. What is the area? OB bar into L. OB bar into L, like a flat key. This OB and along the length. What is the length of the key? OB into length, or you can consider this also OD, no problem. OB into length. And again here, if you are going from by using the geometry, if you are going to find out the OB, already you have calculated AC here. The AC you can consider OC is half of the AC. BC means this B. So what we have to do? We have to find out here this OB. So you can consider it's a right angle, or OB square is equal to this BC square plus OC square. OC already you have calculated. BC means this small b is the width or a height is equal to B. And by using the geometrical relation, you can find out OB. So after calculating it, what you will get? This OB is nothing but B under root 2. Try to understand. You can do it. So you will get B under root 2 into L. The compressive stress sigma C is equal to P upon B under root 2 into L. And then what you have to do the next thing? Next thing you have to substitute the value of P. The value of P, we know that mt by d. You can substitute here mt by d. So you will get here sigma C. This is crushing stress. By using this crushing stress, you can find out the compressive or crushing stress induced in it, or sometimes length of the key against the crushing failure like a flat or shear key. This is about the Kennedy key. It's a very simple one. Then next point is the spline. So today's session actually we have organized for the spline. We will see now. So what is the objective of this? Describe design procedure of spline key or spline shaft. Spline key is also known as a spline shaft. After this session, you will be able to design the spline key. Now let us see how to design a spline key another time. Again, before that, what do you mean by spline or the spline shaft? You should know this. I would like to show here in the diagram. You might have seen such a shaft. Look at the spline. Now this is the shaft. Now shaft is having multiple integrated keys. Look at this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 keys. Or you will find here keys are manufactured directly on the shaft. In other word, you can say keys are integral part of the shaft. While manufacturing the shaft, we have to provide this keyway or these slots. That means we are going to say this key is not separate one, integral part of the shaft. And these such a shafts are known as splines or spline shaft. Try to understand. Again, to accommodate the hub or part which is to be mounted on the shaft, suppose gears, in such a type of the spline keys or the spline shafts are in generally used in automotive or automobile. You will find in gearboxes how you are going to shift the gears from gear 1, gear 2, gear 2, gear 3. That means you are shifting the gears or his position, how they are going to shift because of these splines or because of the spline shafts are using gearboxes. Second thing, again, you will find such as splines in case of the clutches also in pressure plates. When you are applying the the foot pedal, that means to engage or disengage the clutch. That time, how the pressure plates and the friction plates are moving, they are moving on the spline shaft or spline. Try to understand. You will find such a the application of these splines or spline shaft in automobile gearboxes, then clutches. But here the main thing, important thing, the what do you mean by spline or spline key? Spline keys are the integral part of the shafts. And looking to this diagram or a figure, you will find it's not a single key. Multiple keys are here, integral part of the shaft. And this is the hub. To mount the part on the shafts, hub is also having the provision of the splines or slots are provided on the hub. You can insert this hub on the shafts, and because of this, you will find here this hub can easily move here. Look at the cursor in this way towards left or right side or axial. In other words, what we are going to say, axial movement is possible in case of spline shaft, but it prevents relative movement. If we are going to rotate this hub, it prevents as the spline rotates, this hub is also going to rotate. That means what is the purpose of the splines? It permits axial motion but prevents relative motion. So what do you mean by splines or spline shafts? The keys which are made integral with the shaft is not separate one, it's a part of shaft. And you will find more than 2 keys, maybe 4 keys, 6 keys, or the 3 keys also are the integral with the shafts. Then it provides axial motion. Axial motion means hub of the part which is moving axially on the shaft or spline shaft, but it prevents relative movement or relative motion. Try to understand. The main advantage of spline is axial motion is permitted. Because of that, such a spline or spline keys are used in automobile gearboxes, clutch, etc. And again here you will find splines are cut on the shaft by milling and on the hub by broaching. Now look at this here. It's a this keyways or slots are provided by using the milling and here by broaching operation. It's a machining operation performed on the hub. Again, a hub which is mounted on this part and it permits axial movement and prevents relative motion. But how to design this, the spline shafts is very simple one, because here look at the diagram, another diagram I have written here, spline shaft. Now look at this, how many splines are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This spline shaft consists of 6 splines. That means what are the nomenclature that we are going to use here? Number of splines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The small n is used number of spline. Then again here major diameter, we will take or let here capital D. What is capital D? Major diameter of the splines. And again here you will find, look at the diagram here. This is major diameter and here for the slots minor diameter here. Look at this. Small d is the minor diameter of the splines. So where you will get the effective area to transmit the torque when it is going to rotate. When it rotates, so you will find this hub portion when it is mounted, or a hub part, or a part which is mounted on the shaft. What is happening? Slot of the hub and cave of the shaft, which they are coming in contact here. And when it rotates, during that time it transmits the torque. So you will find at this portion, slot of the hub and here key portion of the shaft or splines come in contact. And when during the transmission of the torque, you will find bearing pressure plays important role. Which pressure? Bearing pressure. The bearing pressure is the criteria here in this case while designing. So what we have to do? We have to find out this effective area to transmit the torque on these splines. So what is the effective area? Look at the cursor. This part, this part, this part, that we have to take into account. That means capital D, major diameter is given, minor diameter is given, and this is the hub. Hub means this part which is going, we are going to accommodate on the shaft, or we are going to mount on the shaft. Again here, length of the hub. Length of the hub, look at this. This is the length of hub here. This part which is mounted on the shaft, that is small l. How to design? Look at this here. The torque transmitted by the spline, or torque transmitting capacity of the spline, is equal to, that is EMT is torque transmitted, mean effective here permissible pressure on the spline into area of the total area of the splines only. Try to understand which area we have to consider. Splines. Splines means key portion of the spline shaft and a hub portion where they are coming in contact. That area we have to consider. And RM mean mean radius of the splines. And here PM is the, I have already told you, this is the mean effective pressure. Sorry, it's not a bearing pressure. You will get PM here. Now again here, this permissible pressure on the spline that we have to take into account. Then area, how to find out the area now here? Look at this. This is capital D, this is small d, and here is the pressure. We have to find out this area. This, look at the cursor here. This portion we have to consider here. And how to consider it? That's why area is equal to D, my capital D minus small d by 2. It's okay. Here from the diagram you will get this idea here, capital D minus small d, you will get this portion. But again into number of spline, 1 2 3 4 5 6, that's why multiplied by n. And again here what we have to do, we have to consider the length where the hub which comes in contact, the length of hub. So along the length L into number of spline n into 1/2 capital D minus small d is the area. And I have written here, therefore area to transmit this torque 1/2 into capital D minus small d into L into N. L into N. Try to understand. Then mean radius. Again mean radius means capital D plus small d, major diameter plus minor diameter by 4. How you will get the 4? You know very well, the d by 2 plus d by 2. You can do the analysis to find out the RMA. Then again by 2 you will get the 4, the d plus capital D plus small d by 4. This is the mean. You can substitute these values. RM is equal to this and A is equal to this. So what you will get? MT is equal to 1 by 8 PM permissible pressure on the spline into L into N means number of splines in bracket D square minus D square. If you are going to substitute this value, you will get this expression. MT is equal to, and again here permissible pressure on the spline is limited to 6.5 here Newton per mm square. If it is not given, you can assume it. That means while designing the spline, what you have to remember, only torque transmitted by these splines, that is important, or spline shaft. This equation you should know how to find out this area and how to find out the RM. This is about the design of the spline. Now let us see one small interesting problem to understand the concept of design of this spline. So you can take notebook and write down this standard spline connection. 8 by 52 by 60 mm is used for the gear and shaft assembly of a gearbox. The spline transmit 20 kilowatt power at 300 rpm. Dimensions of the spline are as follows. Already here it is mentioned, but even though it is written, major diameter. Look at the spline connection, how they are specified. N, number of splines, minor diameter, major diameter. Try to understand. The major diameter 60 mm, minor diameter 52 mm, number of spline 8. Sometimes this may be given or directly spine connection 8 by 52 by 60. 60 means major diameter, 52 minor, 8 means number of splines. You can write down. Permissible normal pressure on splines is also given 6.5 Newton per mm square. If it's not given, you can assume it. And coefficient of friction between the hub and the spline is also given 0.06. Calculate length of the hub of the gear and the force required shifting the gear. So what we have to do, read the problem statement carefully. Spline transmits power. Power is given, RPM is given. The power from power and RPM, we can easily find out the torque transmitted. The power is equal to 2 pi n into mt upon 60. So you will get mt, that is torque transmitted by the splines or connection. Then here major diameter capital D is given, minor diameter small d is given, small n is also given 8. So what you have to do, length of the hub of the gear, that means a small l that you have to find out. Then permissible pressure PM is also given 6.5 Newton per mm square. Coefficient of friction given. Why this coefficient of friction? Force required to shift the gear. We have to find out the force. That's why it is given in the statement. So after reading problem statement carefully, what you have to do, write down the given data. So let us write down. Power is given 20 kilowatt. It transmits power at 300 rpm. PM is given 6.5 Newton per mm square. And for splines, capital D, small d, n number of splines, and mu, everything is given. And we know that torque transmitted by the spline, I have already explained, power is equal to 2 pi n mt upon 60. Power in kilowatt, that's why 10 raised to 6. So what you will get here, find out mt. The mt is equal to 60 into power upon 2 pi n is in kilowatt, that's why multiplied by 10 raised to 6. So you will get here torque. The torque mt is equal to, here it's written 6,36,619 Newton mm. Try to understand. This is torque transmitted by the spline. Once you know the torque, what you have to do, the second thing, length of the hub. Already we have derived the expression for mt here. Mt is equal to, this is for the equation torque transmitted by the spline. We are going to use same equation here, but we are making the arrangement to find out the length of hub. The L is equal to 8 mt upon pm into n under root, it's not under in bracket, d square minus small d square. The substitute mt, then pressure is also given here 6.5. N number of splines 8 are given. You can substitute 8. D major diameter is given 60. Minor diameter 52. Substitute all these values here. So what you will get, length. So you will get length is equal to 109, near about 110. It's very simple by using power torque relation and by using torque transmitted by the splines. But important, third one is the important case, that is how to find out the force required for the shifting of the gear. To find out it, first of all we have to find out the force. And how to find out the force? We know the torque transmitted by the splines. And what is torque? Mt is equal to force into mean radius. Look at this. Mt is equal to force into mean radius. And because of this force which is acting on the spline, like other cases, it's normal force. So we are going to find out mt is equal to force into rm. So first of all, find out mean radius. How to find out? I have already told. D capital D plus small d by 4, that is 28. You can substitute here. We know the mt. So what you will get from this equation, mt is equal to force into rm. You will get force P. So you will get force P is equal to here 22,73,642 Newton, or in kilonewton 2,273.6 kilonewton. This is the force. And then another, I have done some mistake. I have not written here the point. You can check it. I have used the force values 22,736. That means here point is remaining. So it said 22 kilonewton. Okay, no problem. How much is the force? 22 kilonewton. Otherwise, the problem statement may be wrong. Look at this. Force, you can calculate mt is equal to force into rm. Rm means mean radius. Substitute, you will get the force 22 kilonewton. 22 kilonewton. You can check it or you can do the calculation. Point is remaining here in between 6.42. Then what we have to do? We have to find out the force required to shift the gear is equal and opposite and to the friction force, because how much is the force required to shift the gear? That means this is the force required because this is the force which is coming here on this plane. That means to shift is the equal force is required to shift the gear. And again, we have to consider here this frictional force, and that's why opposite to that we have to find out frictional force, that is mu into p. So 22.736 kilonewton multiplied by 0.06, so you will get friction force is equal to 1364 newton. Try to understand here. I have taken a correct value here. You can put here 1.22,736.42. So you will get friction force. This is the force required to shape the gear. Try to understand. So what you have to do from torque, find out the force multiplied by mu. You will get equal and opposite force to shift that gear. This is about the splines problem. I hope you understood what discussed today. Thank you. If you have any query or any questions related to the keys, you can ask us anytime through the WhatsApp group or through the mail. No problem, or directly call us. No problem. Thank you. This is about the design of